Hi, sisters and brothers. This is Neil Jepson, and I wish you a Merry Christmas. In about a week and a half, you'll be able to have a break, and I hope that it's refreshing and enjoyable. This training that we're providing you is full of just some ideas that will provide your students with variety. They are learning activities, and they will help your discussions be a little bit better and your students be a little bit more awake. We've been in your classrooms. We know how tired they are. We know how hard it is to keep them moving. Our in-service will be on January 20th for everyone, and we're excited for you to be there. It's the UTSA building as usual. It will begin at 8 o'clock. When you come to that in-service, we are preparing grab bags for you. A beach ball, a set of marbles that you can do an activity with, and a suction cup ball. We're going to demonstrate these activities right now and hope that you'll be able to mix them in a little bit into your classrooms. Thanks, sisters and brothers. Have a great holiday. Marbles is simple. It's not a fast-paced game. You play marbles by having a shooter and using your thumb to push the shooter into the circle. You win smaller marbles if you can get the small marble out of the circle by keeping your shooter in the circle. It's not easy. Gather your students around in a circle around a circle of chalk. The size that I find these settled on is a little bigger than a dinner plate. Begin to have a classroom discussion. When someone says something particularly meaningful, say, "Man, that was pretty good. Why don't you go ahead and shoot?" Now, in this activity, I really don't feel like you need to keep score or do anything like that. It's just an out-of-seat experience that allows them to kind of have a additional focus in addition to the conversation. I think you'll find that it will help them to be a little bit more responsive just for the sake of variety. Don't worry, the chalk comes right up with a wet paper towel. Using a suction cup ball is a little bit more active. You can use this activity to help your students learn more about acquiring spiritual knowledge or something in doctrinal mastery. You can use the suction cup ball as an object lesson. It's got to be a soft toss. We learned this works best from about 20 feet back. Brother Facer and I thought it would be best if you were having a discussion and they started to answer and you gave them a chance to throw the suction cup ball. We built this target. Go ahead and pause the video if you'd like to copy ours. Remember, this works incredibly well on whiteboard, but also just as well on blackboard. We don't play games in seminary on a regular basis, but when we do, it helps them to stay awake and be a little bit more active. Some of my friends in my bald club help me with this activity. It's pretty simple. Discussion questions are written onto a beach ball, and we pass it around. You pick a finger, right index finger, whichever question that right index finger is touching, the student reads aloud, gives a response, and then passes it to another student. It's a great way to finish up class or to help the discussion to be a little bit more lively. Trash ball is easy. Give each student a square piece of paper and they'll need something to write with.
Make sure you have a paper.
Provide a doctrinal mastery scenario or a reference and have the students write their answer on a piece of paper. They crunkle it up, pass it forward to the person on the first row, and that person tries to do everything they can to get the trash in the garbage. The person in the very back is the rebounder and throws it back to them. The teacher decides how many crunkled pieces of garbage need to go in the garbage can before the teacher will review their answers, checking for accuracy. The key to activities like this is to enrich the conversation by asking follow-up questions.
How you would tell your friend about it.
If all we do is match a reference with a phrase, we're not doing enough.
Show that you actually do, then you're not really having faith.
One minor course correction that we've noticed. There are some classes that are working to memorize entire verses, and although that is a meaningful effort, the curriculum only asks us to help our students memorize phrases matched with references, not the entire verse. This is an activity that's very similar. A teacher wrote the references of the doctrinal mastery verses on paper plates, asked a scenario, and then allowed the students to respond by shooting a Nerf bullet toward the paper plate. Sometimes they hit the teacher dressed like a turkey. So there you go. 5 or 6 ideas of how to liven the conversation in your classroom. And we're hopeful that we'll see you on January 20th for our multi-stake in-service. It begins at 8 o'clock. And when you come, we will give you the items that you saw in this little training. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.